Why can't just one major artist give us the truth and not some BS excuse about how their family is growing, life is difficult, the album is rolling out? Because I have no problems with Meghan Trainor, but she just canceled her entire summer tour. And instead of telling the truth, she gave an excuse that you can find the
What?
truth to right here. She was set to go all over the US this summer in venues that are now showing to be much bigger than her popularity. And I know
Uh-huh.
a ton of people would have liked to see Iconopop as well. But then she issued this Instagram statement right here that instead of being honest and just being like, hey, we didn't sell enough tickets, so we're canceling, she's got to put this statement out. And I think it's kind of complete crap because I know it's embarrassing to be like, hey, no one wants to pay $150 to $200 for nosebleed seats. But
Yeah.
you could just be honest and not put together this PR driven statement for everyone out there. This is the Ticketmaster page that shows all the now canceled shows, but like any good internet sleuth, you're able to click on the shows, see the seating map, and see how many tickets are left. And instead of lowering prices, now hundreds, maybe 1,000 people are going to be out of jobs for a tour that could have happened if you just lower.
Yeah, and let's be honest with you guys. People are just tired of paying these insane prices. Capitalism has absolutely taken over the industry. Whether it's Zayn Malik, you got Meghan Trainor who just canceled, you got Post Malone who canceled shows, right? Artists are canceling these shows everywhere. And, there's different reasons for each one of them, but I think the baseline of it is truly the economy. And I'm going to get my opinion on this a little bit later on in this video, but let's check out this perspective right here, guys.
Rick Ross's brand new world tour is the first tour in history to sell 0 tickets. From the way things are not looking good for the rapper Rick Ross, as he has just announced a recent world tour with him struggling to sell any tickets. Now, as you can see right here, this is how one of his venues are looking for a show happening in Miami, Florida, with him barely selling out any tickets and all the green dots indicating seats that haven't been purchased yet. And Rick Ross and his team look to be so desperate to the point that now they're literally offering discounts for any type of seat, with them offering a buy one get 50% off. And with this now occurring to Rick Ross, a lot of people are thinking that the reason as to why he is falling off so bad is because he has been dissing Drake nonstop. For example, in a recent interview, he literally called out Drake and said that his brand new album Iceman was horrendous, and everybody that ended up listening to that album wasted at least an hour of their life. Nonetheless, though, what is my entire situation? Rick Ross's brand new tour is looking to really struggle, with him barely selling out any tickets so far, allegedly. Are you guys a fan of this? Are you guys not? Let me know.
Now, let's be honest with you. I think what Rick Ross is experiencing is completely different than what a lot of these other artists are doing right now with Meghan Trainor canceling her shows. I think Rick Ross truly, and while Rick Ross is a great artist, he's had a great run, a great career, even to this day, right? He's a great businessman. He's making a lot of money, and I respect Rick Ross. I love Rick Ross as an artist. However, I think what he's going through right now is he's past his prime. He's past, the time of making music. And, right now what he's trying to do is get publicity for dissing on massive artists like Drake, who just dropped a very successful album, right? Like he's doing that to get publicity, drive attention and negativity so people can come out to these shows. But I'm sure these prices are crazy and people just are not trying to go out and buy a Rick Ross ticket to, the show or whatever case. I'm assuming that's what it is. Let's be honest. Like I said, I love Rick Ross. He's a great artist, but it's just past his time, past his prime. And what a lot of artists come out here and do is they don't know when to hang up the phone and hang up and be done with their career. They like to go and go and go and go until they're all the way at the bottom, and it puts a stain on their career. Let's just hang it up. He's making a lot of money now. Maybe he's not making as much money as we, think he is. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to dive super deep into it. But hey, let's check out this one right here, guys.
Why are major artists suddenly canceling their tours? Some say they've caught blue dot fever.
This week, a ton of artists canceled their tours and blamed it on a number of completely made-up reasons. Besides a few health-related ones, of course. I think this guy nailed it, and let's be crystal clear. It's not exactly that people don't have money for concerts anymore. I mean, to a degree, yes, but let's be honest. Capitalism has destroyed the concert industry because you continue to raise the cost of concerts to the point where it's now no longer affordable to anyone. For the first time in forever, I went through the insufferable process of trying to buy concert tickets recently, and not only was I put in an endless spree of glitchy waiting rooms and never got to the end of it, but the price ended up being roughly the same as my upcoming business trip to Michigan, Why would I pay the same price as an entire weekend trip to go stand around and listen to music, whoever's singing it, for 2 hours? Unless you've resurrected Freddie Mercury himself for one night and one night only, I'm not paying more than like $150 max for a concert, let alone upwards of $400 or $500.
Yeah.
I waited for 3 hours just to get on a waiting list for Lollapalooza. And here's the thing, this is coming from someone who grew up as a concert kid. I was at a concert almost once a month growing up.
Now, I'm sorry for pausing, but I do have to add one perspective on it, guys. Not every artist is struggling in today's economy, right? Let's also not create that narrative either, because there are some artists that are doing very, very well. Hence, Kanye West just did a tour over in California that sold out completely. Like, people were all over that tour. And I think it was a great experience, right? I'm not saying everybody's struggling. However, there is a subset of the community that is, and that's why they are canceling shows. But hey, I just wanted to throw that caveat because, a lot of people assume that I'm saying that nobody's doing well. That's not the case, guys.
Because that's how accessible they were. My very first solo concert, I was 15 years old with my friends. We went to Hoodie Allen and it was like $25 and we got a meet and greet. I've now been to every single one of his shows because he always keeps the ticket prices under like $50. Same thing with Young Gravy. I always tell him that one of the big reasons I continue to go to his concerts, even though I've seen them a million times, is because it was just an easy thing to do. If he's in town that weekend, obviously I'm copying tickets. Also, he's from Minnesota, represent, but I went to see Panic at the Disco twice in high school. Once $75 floor seats, and the other one only broke like 150-ish because I got front row. Well, 2 rows back, but $150 for 2 rows back in like 2016-ish. I got floor seats for Ariana Grande also for like $90-ish. Tumblr was huge, ticket prices were low, and I was seeing Melanie Martinez in the 1975 for like $50. The only festival I've ever been to, and maybe the last great one, 2019 Soundset. Lil Wayne, G-Eazy, DMX, SZA, Doja Cat. You want to know how much all of this cost? Roughly $110 after tax. I bought the ticket the day of because my friends were going and wanted me to come along, and I didn't even have to think about it. I still go to Young Gravy every time he's in town, and even when he gives me and my friend passes, I still buy the tickets because that's Minnesota nice. People are rethinking going to concerts now, not because they don't have the money to, but because you've all made it delusionally unaffordable.
Yeah, and that's the thing with all of this, guys, because, people are still going to go to the artists that they want to see, their favorite artists and all that. But ultimately, when you talk about these prices, it's getting out of hand. Let's be honest.
Armies, this is crazy. Some BTS tickets have been cancelled. Apparently, some armies in the US and I think Canada have been getting emails saying the tickets transferred to you were acquired by someone who violated our terms of use by either exceeding the purchase limit set by this tour or by using false account information in attempt to evade security protections. So they're trying to knuckle down on scalpers. After the ticket sales originally happened, I did try to warn people that don't go running to buy resale tickets because those tickets are usually from scalpers. Now, I couldn't have predicted this. I just thought you might be paying extortionately more than if you wait closer to the time and get your resale tickets closer to face value. The best time to buy resale tickets, in my opinion, is about less than a month before the concert. But some of the people affected are not getting refunds. And Ticketmaster is saying oh my God, you guys didn't do anything wrong. But if it was bought through a resale website, they're not responsible for the refund. And now those tickets will be going back on sale. You would have already been emailed if this has affected you, but crazy work.
You know what's interesting about seeing these artists canceling tours due to low ticket sales is that I can go see the Mets play for like $17. And it doesn't matter how bad the Mets are or how few tickets are sold. The game is still going to happen. When you think about the difference between sports and music, you can see why music is failing. Because professional sports are designed to keep unpopular teams alive, whereas the music industry is designed to let unpopular artists die. I mean, it doesn't matter how bad the Mets season is going. They're still going to be around. I mean, Major League Baseball has revenue sharing between teams. They have a schedule. I mean, the Yankees have to play somebody. Baseball knows that the league is the product, but music doesn't have a league. Ticketmaster makes all this money when things go well, but when things don't go well, the artist is the one who takes the hit. Professional sports leagues figured out a long time ago that you can't let all of the money and attention go to a small handful of teams, or else at a certain point, competition becomes meaningless. They are willing to accept a certain level of inefficiency in order to maintain a healthy ecosystem. Music works in the opposite way. Radio and, streaming algorithms concentrate attention to a small handful of artists, while everybody else basically is forced to fight for themselves. So you end up in a situation where there's a small handful of artists who are selling out stadiums, while just below them, the mid-level touring ecosystem is getting wiped out. And it's not like sports are equal. There are superstars in sports. But the difference is Tom Brady knew that he needed a healthy NFL for him to be Tom Brady. Taylor Swift's product is Taylor Swift. She doesn't need a healthy ecosystem around her because she is the product. The problem is they're not making more Taylor Swifts. At a certain point, this is just going to run out. At a certain point, you're just going to have the Yankees.
Yeah, because you're going to have, so many different artists, especially in today's social media age. I don't know. There is no new, big artists right now, especially with, the implementation of things like TikTok and Instagram, all these different social media platforms. So, yeah, when you talk about artists selling tickets themselves, like Taylor Swift or Beyonce or all these massive artists, those days, I think, are basically, I'm trying to think about any new artists right now. I'm not saying there's none, right? But the days of selling out a massive arena by, one artist, I don't know. I don't know of any new ones that are out right now. I could be completely overthinking it and missing some. Y'all can let me know in the comment section below. But seriously, this is where we are right now within today's economy. Let me know what y'all think about this down in the comment section below.